Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Because you're not feeling Lucy?
Austin, are you ready?
What is up, Rust friends? It is 2025. It's our first episode of the year, and I cannot be more excited. Honestly, I'm really excited to talk about wrestling. We have a lot to cover. So much has happened since we last recorded. So let's get started. Rust friends, my name is Edie.
And my name is Teddy.
And you are listening to the Wrestfriends Podcast. Anything wrestling related, you can find it here on our channel. We have vlogs, we have interviews, we have recaps, literally everything you can think of that's wrestling related, we have it here. Rest friend, I haven't seen you in months. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Look at you. You look so cute, so happy. I'm honestly very, very happy to be right here talking to you right now.
Rest friend, literally, we did the last time we recorded was before I went to Mexico, which was like December 11th, December 18-ish, like around that time. So it's been fully probably a month, a little over a month. So
it has been a long time. We haven't even exchanged Christmas presents. Let's tell the people that.
Yeah, I'm looking at your Christmas present right now, and it's just been there looking at me in the face. So we'll see. And right now it's snowing in Chicago. It's been crazy weather, super cold. So we haven't been able to hang out and see each other. And then time schedules and oh my God, there's just so much. But I'm glad that I'm streaming here, that I can see your pretty, beautiful face because you look so cute. I'm so excited, Rest Friend.
Thank you, Rest Friend. You're so cute. I'm so excited too. We were both talking before we started this, how nervous we were, right? But we got this. We got a beautiful show.
Yeah.
That we're about to do. So I'm excited.
Super excited. So before that happens, do you want to let the audience know how your winter break was, how your holidays were?
No, I mean, you know what? My holidays didn't really feel like the holidays, so I'm not trying to put anyone in like a shitty mood. Everything's okay. I wasn't sad or nothing. It just didn't really feel like the holidays. So I just chilled with my family, with my immediate family. We made tamales, we made pozole, had a good just chill time. But I'm pretty sure you in Mexico, you were having a way better, at least a more relaxing and calming time than I was, I'm sure.
Oh my God, Mexico was such a great time. And I always say that over there, you kind of just forget about time and what day it is, because it's like the same type of weather all the time. There's no pressure. You don't have to get up and go to work. So it's just a different environment over there. And also, I had very limited access to internet. So after you ran out of certain data, you just have to buy more data, which I did end up doing because I was like, I cannot be without my internet. I'm so sorry. I couldn't be without my TikToks, especially at night, like when the day's done and you're not out and about doing things. Like you need to just think about other things.
You know what? I was gonna ask you, what do you do when you're not on the internet or when there's no service? What do you usually do over there?
Yeah, so over there, I mean, it's just like if your phone is useless, which is crazy because like you're not getting any calls and you're not doing anything, you're not checking emails. So you really only use it to check what time it is, and that's rarely that you need to know what time it is over there. So, you get up, we had like breakfast all in our big family, and then we would be like, oh, well, we have to go to the store, we have to do some shopping, we got to do this. So then we would go out, and then I'd be taking pictures of like, everything that's happening over there. And then we'd just be traveling to different places. There was fiestas and quinceañeras all the time. So we would be getting ready for the parties, to going and see the vals, and vamos a ir a la comida y vamos a ir a saludar a la gente. So it was just like we were just always on the move and always doing something fun. So it's not like you needed your phone either way. But yeah, I was just like, to get back over here, and you're always like, let me check my emails. I have to message this person. I have to talk, about this. So it's just a different pace over there, which much needed. But man, there's such a different culture here in the United States that it's always like, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. I'm not saying that it's not like that in Mexico too, because people, of course, over there work for hours and the pay is different and their labor is super intense and hard. So man, it's a different type of.
It's a different life.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh my gosh. No, that's so cool. That's so cool. I'm so glad that you were able to spend some time with your family over there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's talk about wrestling, Russ Friend, because literally so much has gone on, and I think 2025 is going to be a year for the women. I'm super excited because they're just so great, like amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
so many title changes from the women since we've last talked. Chelsea Green is the United States champion, which is the first, championship for the women on
Yeah.
that side. So it's kind of like their mid card. But then also Lyra Valkyrie is also or Valkyria. Somebody correct me if that's wrong. Do you know what the pronunciation is? I
No, rest friend. I didn't even know who that was until I saw
Good.
your notes.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, okay.
So she is now the intercontinental champion on the women's side. So I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like I love that the women are getting more of these opportunities because for a long time we have said like, man, there's only like two championships that the women can go after. And besides the women's tag team championships. So I like that there's a little bit more variety now. Do
Me
you
too.
agree?
I agree. I definitely agree.
Let's see. Man, so Tiffany Stratton, before I left to Mexico, she cashed in, and then who would have thought that she would have betrayed Nia Jax, right? I mean,
I mean,
we knew that it was kind of going in that direction, right? We just were
hmm
thinking of like, when is she going to do it? What's the opportunity going to be like? I know a lot of people hated the women's war games match where Tiffany did not
yeah,
come out with the briefcase, but then all of a sudden the briefcase was in the match, and people were like, "Oh, I think that would have been a dumb move if she would have cashed in on that." I actually think it spiced it up a little bit. I don't think we've seen a cash in like that, especially on the women's side, because there's been so little cash ins because they just started having the briefcase for the women. But I thought it was going to be a little, spicy. This was a little different. And I'm not mad that now Tiffany is that champion. So I'm really excited. I think she's going to be really dominant. I actually think the fans really love her. I think she's got the look. I'm excited for it to be Tiffy time 24/7. What about you?
yeah. Me too, rest friend. I'm excited too, because I just recently started getting back into wrestling.
Mm.
So, I didn't know much about Tiffany Stratton until now that she's a champion. So I'm excited to see what she can bring because, like I said, I just started watching it again. So, first of all, you can see the athleticism in that woman
Yeah.
immediately. So I'm very happy for her.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really great ride for her. And someone else who is back and a champion is Rhea Ripley. She beat Liv Morgan for that championship. And then of course there was Dirty Dom to try
Ugh.
to win back her love. First friend, I was like, I'm so tired of you, sir.
First friend, it's
Just like a man. Like going,
that's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm
"Mm,
like, why do men always always gotta try and ruin everything?
you know what? It's what is that quote that it's like, it's not all men, but it's always men,
It's
right? Like
always men. Yep.
I'm glad to see that she's back. I like that the reign that Liv Morgan went on. I thought it was a
Yeah,
really
me too.
good it was better than previous reigns that she's had, but again, you have a star in Rhea Ripley and it's going to be kind of tough to see well who's going to knock her down
Yeah.
because there's a lot of women who they've built up and they did a really good job with Liv because you saw her kind of go through the ringer to be in that position of being a main eventer, right? Of being a
Yes.
champion.
Yeah.
So who are they going to bring in now to face Rhea, to dethrone Rhea? Is there anyone that you have in mind that can kind of beat Rhea? Because I know the rumor is Charlotte Flair
I
is coming.
know. Ooh, I knew you were gonna say that. That is the only person that I can think of that can possibly dethrone Rhea. The only one. I'm sorry. Like, of course, there's other people that I believe in, like Bailey,
Mhm.
right? That I believe can also possibly, dethrone Rhea. But I don't know. When I think who can come and face Rhea and there it be like equal,
Mhm.
Charlotte.
And it's crazy because Charlotte and Rhea have such history, right?
Yeah.
So they don't need to bring back Charlotte and then build Charlotte up for this feud with Rhea. The feud is
Right.
there. We
Yeah.
know the drama. We know the issues and the history between these two women. So it's just gonna be an interesting thing to see because Rhea is not the same person that
Right.
she was the last couple times that she faced Charlotte. But also, I would think that Charlotte would come back, and I would love to see her against Tiffany Stratton. So there's just so many possibilities. I feel like Charlotte needs to go against everybody. I would love to
Yes.
see Stephanie Vaquer versus Charlotte.
Okay.
I think that would be so good. Oh
I
my
agree with Tiffany
God.
Stratton. I agree with that Tiffany Stratton one. That would be very, very exciting as well.
I'm ready for the rhinestones. I'm ready for the glam. And
Yes.
we've gotten a little bit of taste in that with Tiffy, right? Like we've seen
Hmm.
that she comes out in her gear and it's elegant and it's extravagant and it's sparkly, but no one is the queen except the queen herself, right? I
Hmm.
know Charlotte gets a lot of hate. I don't understand why. I think she's a phenomenal wrestler. I think she is a great representation of the company, and she's nothing like her dad. So
Not at all.
she's not problematic in anything that I've seen in the past couple years. So
Yeah.
when Charlotte comes back, I think it's just going to shake a lot of things up. And someone who recently shook things up and beat Roxanne for the NXT Women's title was Julia, and we had
Hmm.
really high hopes for Julia coming in. So I would hope to see that that's going to be a long title run for her, and then hopefully Stephanie Vaquer can also get that championship before they head on over to the main
To
roster.
the main roster,
Yeah.
yes. I agree.
Do you think that, I know we'll talk a little bit more about the Rumble later, or we'll also have our own little show recapping the Rumble, or maybe we'll do a show before the Rumble. But do you think that Julia and Roxanne and Stephanie will make an appearance in the Rumble? I'm kind of banking on Stephanie for sure being in
I
the Rumble, and Julia.
I also think Julia. I think Stephanie would be great as well. I feel like that would be such a nice little surprise or such a nice little pop.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope we see the women from NXT. It's always so much fun when they bring people that are not in the main roster. It's such a little surprise. Makes it more fun.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next title change. And these was in New Japan Restaurant. When we were going over our notes in this, I was cracking up because you had mentioned like the Young Bucks, and I'm like, oh my God, the Young Bucks. I can't believe I forgot about the Young Bucks. Yes, I was like, I forgot that they just got championships back again. So let's go through a rundown of what happened in New Japan.
Oh my goodness, there was a lot of title changes in New Japan during Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty weekend.
Mhm.
Um, El Desperado is a new IWGP Junior. I believe it's a heavyweight championship. I did not write that down in my notes, but unfortunately, he had to take the belt away from Doki because Doki did get injured during the match. There's
Mhm.
clips of it. If you're squeamish, don't watch it. You can definitely
Listen,
see his arm being
this is
injured.
not for you.
It's definitely not for you if you don't like that kind of thing. But I'm very happy for Desperado, even though he had to get the championship in that way. I would love to see all the gold on him. I love him so much. But his friend, someone else that also became a champion that weekend was Takeshita. He became the
Period.
never open weight champion and beat Shingo for it. My deal Shingo Takagi. I know you were really happy with that. I know that when that happened, you were like, Shingo, two belts, Shingo. I mean, not Shingo, I'm so sorry, Takeshita. And then, like we said, the Young Bucks as well became the New Japan World Tag Team Champions. They had a very cool match against United Empire, which was Great Khan and Jeff Cobb, yes, and also against LIJ's Naito and Takahashi. That was also a very
Mhm.
cool match. Very cool to see the Young Bucks back in Japan and back as champions, because that's when I started watching them. They were in New Japan.
Yeah.
So that definitely brings a lot of like cool old wrestling memories, right?
Yeah. No,
Um,
it's, man, New Japan is really killing it.
No,
Really
they
killing it
really,
for what they're
they
doing.
really, really are. And like seeing talent from AEW back over there, or just talent from AEW that had never had a match in New Japan, it's really cool to see. Um, but there were other title changes. Suji beat David Finlay for the Global Championship. El Fantasma beat Ren. You know what? Ren Narita. Some of these names, I'm like, I do not want to botch them.
Yeah. We apologize in advance, guys. Yeah.
Please, we apologize in advance. But yes, like I said, there was so many title changes. It was such a fun weekend, but there was just so much going on.
Hmm. Man, I'm telling you, there's so much that has happened since we have last recorded. But you're right, best friend. When Takeshita won those that title, I was like, okay, now, sir, this is what I've been waiting for. When Takeshita first, was in AEW and having his like dark matches and his little dynamite matches, I was like, this guy's a star. let's not beat around the bush. Like, this guy is a star. He's a champion. Let's put
Yeah.
the titles on him. Let's really build him. And for a long time, they were just kind of like, I don't know, not to say wishy-washy with him, but they would give him a little push and then they'd bring him back down. And then he was in the Don Callis family, and then I don't know what they were doing with the Don Callis family. So now that he's a champion in New Japan and also a champion in AEW, I was like, okay, now it's making sense. You guys are really pushing Takeshita because he's had great matches with Kenny Omega. He's had great matches with Hangman, and you know that this guy is just fantastic and just such a competitor. I think it's great.
I
I'm
agree.
a Takeshita girly, okay, through and through.
No, I agree because I don't, okay, I feel like this is something that not everyone has, but Takeshita is someone that once you see him, if you've never watched him wrestle, but you watch him wrestle for the first time, you can see it in him that this man has star power immediately. Immediately. So I was watching him in AEW have all these matches and him not getting anything out of it. We would talk about, you and I would always be like, okay, what's going on? When is
Yeah,
there going to be a belt on that man?
yes,
And well, now he has two.
as he should, and he should have 5.
Okay.
Takeshi should have 5 championships, and that's what I'll leave it at. But Johnny, thank you so much for joining us this morning. He says, "Who's going to be the woman of the year for 2025?" And there's a great question for one person that we forgot to talk about. Not that they are a champion now, but they were a champion before, who is back from injury, and that's Miss Julia from the House of Black, which
Well, right? Yeah.
mm,
Is it the House of Black or is it the Hounds of Hell now?
Interessante. I
Yeah,
was gonna
that's
say, yeah, if I need Julia to start her own faction and call it the House of Heart. I've been wanting that for a little bit.
okay.
So I think that would work. But man, yeah, so rumor is that Malachi's done, right?
Yes.
And that he's on his way back to WWE, which we didn't have in our notes, but let's talk about this. Restaurant, what are your thoughts on this?
On the whole
On
on
the
the whole
rumors of
Malachi
the
Black. You
Malachi,
know
yeah.
what? Anytime now that we have someone that came to AEW from WWE that ends up wanting to leave AEW to go back to WWE, do what makes you happy. If that's what's gonna make Malachi Black happy, then I'm all for it. What can I say, right? Like, what am I gonna say? No, keep Malachi in AEW. I mean, we barely saw him, unfortunately. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. Like, we barely saw him. I hope that him going back to WWE does something amazing for his career because I do believe that someone like Malachi Black should have a bigger um what's it called, like they should be showing him more on TV. I love what that man can bring. Not only his wrestling but just like his aura that he brings to the ring. I don't know, I really like it, I really appreciate it. So I hope that everything works out very well for him if he does leave or not.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you. I think it was sad to see, over the couple months that we just were not getting the amount of Malachi that we wanted to be getting. And
Hmm.
it's crazy, right? Because, you have Dynamite and you have Collision. So, Rampage is done for. But even when we started watching wrestling, they had Dark, right? So
Hmm.
there was just a couple of places that you could be showing the talent. And we were just getting less and less of Malachi. And I believe there was an injury. Was there not?
There
Was
was
there?
an injury, he was injured for a while, yes.
Injured for a while, so we didn't see him. And then it wasn't a stable storyline. And then he kind of came back with the montages. But yeah, at the end of the day, if he's done there, he can say he went to AEW, and that's just the company he's wrestled for, right? That's part of the job. He wants to go
Yeah,
back to WWE. Let him go back to WWE. He wouldn't be the first. Wouldn't be the first.
exactly, exactly.
Oh my gosh. So wishing Malachi all the best wherever he ends up. I know I'm gonna be super, super excited. But if I hear that theme song
Yes.
at the Rumble restaurant, I'm gonna be like, oh,
You know what? And that's, you know what? That's the one thing I loved Malachi and AW. I did. Could we have gotten more of him? Absolutely. But the his theme songs in WWE. So
oh my God.
I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see if he's gonna get some of his old theme song back. If he's gonna get something new. I don't know. That's something that I always look forward to. Restaurant their theme songs. So
Yeah.
when they'll have, I know we're gonna talk about Penta later, but when they'll have something generic like his first one, I was like, no, I need something better than this, please.
Oh my God. Wait, so are you talking about Penta's theme? You do not like Penta's theme?
Was it not different when his the first time that
Okay.
he came out, his debut to the
I
second?
I have not seen his second match. I've seen the little bit of the entrance, but I have not heard
Okay.
the song. So you guys let us know in the comments if it's a different song. I'm actually not sure about that. Deadpool nerd is saying if Malachi goes back to WWE, I hope so he doesn't just get a hype return and then gets lost in the shuffle. Yeah,
I
I would
agree.
hope so too, because that's also another thing. There's just so much talent on the rosters, right? And then again, I mean, now with Netflix, we're having a 2-hour show, we're having a 2.5-hour show. Um, so we just don't know what that time is. And then same thing with SmackDown. I mean, unless you're taking him to NXT, like, I mean, he needs to be in the main roster and
Yeah.
you need to have a storyline for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he would fit in now with guys like CM Punk, when you got Drew on top, when you got Sammy, when you have Cody, when John Cena's last year is coming up, when The Rock is possibly coming back. You got main event Jey Uso, the whole bloodline story. So where would Malachi fit in is
Yeah.
my question. There's a lot of top guys right now, and even Braun Breaker. So he's I think he's picking fights with Sheamus. So I mean, I don't know where he would fall back in,
You know
but
what? Fuck it. Give us Penta and Malachi. If Malachi ends up
yeah,
in WWE, two very brutal mother effers, right? Because
yeah.
both of them are very brutal when it comes to like the wrestling. So I feel like that would be something very nice to see. That's just something that came up in my head right now.
Yeah. Good morning, Scott. George says good morning / afternoon, Rest Friends. What's up, Scott? Thank you so
Good
much for
morning,
always
Scott.
watching and supporting. We absolutely appreciate it. Let's talk about, we mentioned Netflix. RIP the USA Network.
I love it.
RIP.
Oh
Rest
my
Friends,
gosh, I love that.
I was really kind of irked when this first happened. I mean, I was very excited because I'm like, oh my God, Netflix? That's crazy. Like, I really only watch Netflix to watch Stranger Things, to watch Squid Games. I when they had Rebelde on there and then they took it down. So I think I
And
have
then
to
they took it off, yeah.
yeah, so I have to watch that on VIX Plus now. I watched that on VIX.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. Netflix has its own like little things. Oh, I also watched Love is Blind. Oh my God.
Oh, that's right. You've been trying to get me into watching Love is Blind. Isn't that the one you wanted me to watch?
Yes, Rest Friend. It's
It
so
was one
good.
of those dating shows.
It's so good, Rest Friend. Honestly, it changes your life. I mean, the first 2 seasons, every other season, people just wanted to be famous. But
Okay,
the first season was
I can
actually
see that.
about love. Yeah. So
Look at you, hopeless
yeah.
romantic.
Yes, the first one was actually where the couples stayed together. So, yeah, okay, back to the USA Network. First friend, when I was little, I don't know if you had this problem, but anytime we had to change cable or to get cable, I was always like on that phone call with my parents as they were talking to the representative because they're like, "We're paying too much for cable. We got to get rid of some of these channels,"
Yeah.
which is crazy, right? To say like
Yes,
that's what you
that's
had to do
crazy.
before.
Yeah.
But my dad's like, "Oh my God, we're paying so much for this bill. We have to get rid of things." And I'm like, "No, no, no." I was like, "I don't care what channels you get rid of. Keep the USA Network because I have to watch Monday Night Raw. If not, I can't watch it. Like, I don't care what you guys are watching. If we only get the USA Network, that's the only thing we get." So I remember I would
Yes.
have to like argue with them as a child to keep this place where I could watch Monday Night Raw. I don't know if you had this
It's so
problem.
cute. Well, I never had that exact problem, but I do remember having to go when like the first time that we had Dish. That was like the first cable we ever had because I grew up without cable.
Yeah.
And the first time we did get cable, we got Dish. So when I was looking through the list of channels, I was like, we have to have USA.
Yeah.
Have to have USA. And then when we changed to Comcast, I was like, of course, we have to have USA.
Best friend. I think you had Comcast. And I was so when we would go over, I
Uh-huh.
remember like all of us, we would sit in the sala and we watch music videos because that was an option. Was that in Comcast? You remember we had like
I
you would be
think
able to
it
put
was
on the
Dish.
was it Dish? I want to say whichever one was the fancy one because I remember you had like a button you
Yes,
can press and it
yes,
would take you to the select like the designated location of the channel. You could pick like music videos, you could pick rock, hip hop or whatever, and then you could pick
yes.
the band. It was so crazy. That was like original YouTube.
No, that was Vivo. You remember Vivo? That's who were playing all the videos. It was Vivo. Wasn't I think Vivo was working with YouTube. I think they were like the same company. I
Yeah.
don't know. But it was Vivo that was playing all these music videos on the channel. I want to say it was Dish because we did have the cool features with Comcast, but Dish, like original Dish, they used to have the cool stuff. I don't know if you remember, you would be able to play games on there with using the remote control. You
I
would
don't
play games on
remember.
your TV. So I want to say it was Dish, but the other cool thing about Dish was that if I missed Raw, I could watch Raw 2 hours later on a different channel that would be called USA West or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Shout outs, good morning. Mim says good morning, squad. Yay, a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Jesus Christ, it was the longest week of my life.
Long week, long month. January has been long.
Honestly, it's been long since November. Since November, I've been like, all right, guys, let's get it over with. Mimi says, yeah, yes, you and I and Bonnie would watch videos and sing along. Yes. So funny story. The band All Time Low, Mimi and Bonnie, they were like, oh my God, yeah, this is the kind of rock music you would like. And it was All Time Low. And the first time they played for me was Time Bomb. And I remember it because we were all in your living room, restaurant, and
Yeah.
we were all jamming out to Time Bomb. I was like, oh my God, this is so cute. Yes, I love this. And then I loved All Time Low after that. So
That's so cute. That
story
was
of
the thing
that.
to do in my basement. We would watch music videos and dance, right?
Yeah.
Or chismear, I guess. What were our little selves chismeando about? Who knows?
Who
But
knows?
that's
I
what we're
remember
doing.
we used to sit on your steps sometimes, and if not, we'd be in your room. Like there was just such nostalgia back just
Good times.
thinking about those times. But man, RIP USA Network because I fought for y'all for years. For years to be in my home.
That
And
is so cute. Such a cute story.
yeah, I just kind of sad that it's not going to be on the USA Network anymore. But honestly, Netflix, I think, has done a great job. That first show looked incredible. It felt like a WrestleMania.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this I'm impressed. Like they had drone shots and the crowd was like amazing and they had like little bracelets. Do you remember the pulseras we got for NXT one year? Like the little light up ones. Do
Well,
you
the
remember?
light up ones.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
had that.
Yeah, so I think they had them on the people in the crowd and everybody like they were just so excited to be at that show and it really felt big. Like you had The Rock there, you had The Undertaker there, you had a wrestler who got booed out of the building. You had there was just a lot of hype, right? There was a lot of hype. So I think they did a really, really good job with that first show. What do
No,
you think?
no, the promotion for it was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You would even before it did debut on Netflix, you would open up Netflix and there they were, the advertisement for WWE. You would get on the internet and you would see advertisements for WWE. So that was a very good promotion. I'm very, you know what? Unfortunately, nowadays streaming services is the only way that we can get most of our content, at least the easy way. If you have the money for it, because Netflix, we pay $25 a month for Netflix. That's
Oh, wow.
crazy.
That's crazy, restaurant.
Crazy. So to be honest with you, when they said they were moving to Netflix and then AW also has AW is also on Max, I was like,
Mhm,
you know what? Then I can cancel Sling because that's what I use. I use Sling to watch cable television.
mhm.
And I'm like, well, now I don't have to pay all of these things because all these streaming services have wrestling now. So that's the thing I'm very happy about. My only thing, restaurant with Netflix, is that why doesn't WWE have its own category on there? Because when I was trying to look for them the other day, I'm like, it would be, I understand there's a search bar and I can just type in WWE,
Mhm.
but they should have their own category. All that advertisement and Netflix can't even give WWE their own category. Hopefully in the
Period.
future.
Restaurant, I hope they're watching this right now so they can they can steal that idea. Have your own goddamn tab. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
You know, my thing, yesterday yesterday or the day before, I was trying to show my dad Penta's second match because I'm like, oh dad, Penta went against Pete Dunne. And my dad is also a big fan of Pete Dunne because he thinks Pete Dunne is just so vicious. And he is. He is.
Yes.
So I was like, oh my God, that has to be, such a great match. I'm like, let's watch it. So I'm in the kitchen and I watch it through my what is it? It's like a little Roku. Yeah,
Oh,
so that I have attached to the TV. So then I go on Netflix and I'm typing in Raw and the show pops up and I click on it and it says not available. So I'm like, what the heck? I was like, it already happened. Like I know you guys like this is not how streaming works. Like if it already streamed, it should be available. So I tried for a whole half hour and it just did not let me. And I'm like, what the heck? Maybe it was just having a bad day. I don't know what the time delay is for it being able to appear right on the streaming platform. And I tried it this morning on my phone and it was fine. So I'm like, what the
It's
heck? I was like, I
yeah,
don't
you
know.
see,
Some glitches need to be fixed.
we need to fix the glitches and put WWE in its own category, please. So
Please.
it's easier for us to find. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. Oh my God. Let's talk about something that I'm super, super excited for. I know we talked about Netflix. One of the big things that is brought to Netflix is now Penta. You know, we talked about Penta jumping ship from, I guess not jumping ship, right? He was in AEW, his contract was done. He was
Yeah.
like, you know what, let me try something else.
Yeah.
And he went to WWE. He says that's been a dream of his, and I support it.
Me too.
Absolutely support it. They said it was, well, commentary said it was one of the worst kept secrets in the business, and it absolutely was because 2 months ago we had a whole episode about this. About did we not, Wrestfriends? We really talked about this for like 45 minutes on a show
Yeah.
about Penta and Ray.
Yes, we did.
So if you guys want to know more about that, go back and watch it. It's in our YouTube, so it's one of these videos. I think it's probably the last one that we did. Man, it's just crazy.
It's crazy.
The issues that they've had and back and
Yeah.
forth, but now Penta was finally on our screens, and that entrance that he had was absolutely beautiful. And I was just so excited to see him there. Like I felt such pride
It's
in seeing Penta
crazy.
come
It's
out. How
it's
did you
still
feel?
crazy. It's crazy, Rush friend. Like the emotions everywhere, to be honest with you, because yeah, like you said, he said that it has been a dream of his. So when you think about that as a fan, of course you can help but be happy for them because we all know that most wrestlers' dream was probably to be in WWE because we all grew up with having WWE, right, on our TVs. Um, Most wrestlers talk about their favorites, they used to be in WWF or WWE. So when you see someone like Penta with the platform that he had on AEW, como
Mhm.
mexicano, como luchador, go to WWE, and you can see how happy he is to be there. And then they show his family very emotional and happy for him to be there. You can see and tell that he wasn't lying. Like he wanted to be there. And that was such a cool moment. Just to watch his family,
Yeah,
how
it's
happy and emotional they were for him, that was very, very touching. And I know you're gonna talk about it, but what he said after his match, it just for me as a fan, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm locked in. Was I butthurt at first because he left AEW? Of course, because I loved him in AEW. I knew of Penta because of AEW. I didn't know about him before AEW. So to see him leave the company, that's where I fell in love with him. Um, I did get a little, butthurt, like I said, but seeing him now in WWE, seeing how happy he is, it's very, very nice, very refreshing.
it's crazy to think about, like, on a side by side, what the portrayal of Penta is, right? Because I
Yeah,
think they're very similar. I think, there might be a few people who are like, um, he looks way better in WWE than he did in AEW. I would disagree. I
me
think he's
too.
being showcased in the same way. I think, we were there to see one of the greatest entrances of the Lucha Brothers, I think, that we've seen live, with all the flames when they had their beautiful gear, in that cage match that we saw in
One of the
person.
greatest matches I've ever seen in person, first of all. So yeah.
Crazy. And plus with that entrance that they got, like, I think they've always shown out for the Lucha Brothers and for Penta and for Ray. When he had the Penta Oscuro, they had the grave, what's it called? The tombstone, the
The
headstone,
tombstone.
whatever.
Hmm.
And then, he just came out in just phenomenal gear, and they always had the lighting right. I don't know if it's like a budget issue that just, WWE is just so massive,
Yeah.
they they had the pyro, and they had just the loud music, and it's just, I think it's the same vision, right,
Yeah.
that they have in both companies. But in WWE, especially on a platform like Netflix, I just thought they really knocked it out of the park with that one. I was like, oh my God, he looks so freaking cool.
Yeah, no, he does.
If this was your first time watching and you were like, holy shit, who was that guy? I want to
Yeah,
know
yeah,
who that
yes,
guy is.
exactly. Especially, look, I mean, he comes out and immediately with his little penta walk, like his little what do we call that? I'm gonna call it the penta crip walk.
Wrestfriend, you know what is so crazy?
What?
That reminds me of like Duranguense, of But
Oh,
yes, but it's like when you're doing the little right?
okay. When you're dancing to tamborazo.
Yes, but he takes out one step, so it's just like a 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
That's what that reminds me of, and I know it's paying, homage to, another wrestler. Um, oh my god, who is it?
Oh,
Somebody
is it?
Yes, it's paying homage to someone else, to another luchador.
Another
Somebody, if you
luchador.
know, put it down in the comments. I wanna say I'm not even gonna say it because I might be wrong. So just put it down in the comments, but yeah, that's him paying tribute to someone else. But that's what
Mhm.
that reminds me of, and I'm like, I just know he can dance tamborazo. I know Penta throws down.
Oh, you know what? You know what? Now that's a great question to ask Penta if we ever meet him. Like, do you know how to dance to tamborazo?
Yes.
I I'm so sorry, but the first thing that I think about when he does his walk is our friend Mario. I don't even know why I said I'm so sorry, but I think of Mario because our friend Mario from the Lucha Outsiders, huge shout out. He can do that Penta walk just like him, can he not, Rest friend?
Absolutely. I was gonna say we've never seen both of them in the same room. I think we might have, but
Have we?
I
No.
don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
Deadpool nerd is saying Penta feels different because he's not trying to be the next Rey Mysterio. No one can be that. He's just being the first Penta, which, yeah, I mean, there was plans for him to be either like the tag team partner of Rey Mysterio or the opponent of Rey Mysterio. I don't know what that thing was, but I'm actually glad that they're not pairing him up with Rey Mysterio. Also, a criticism that I had was like they'll just put all the Mexicans together, right? LWO. Anybody who's Hispanic, you got DJZ. What's his name now in WWE?
um,
Oh my god, somebody put it down in the comments. Who is DJZ now in in LWO?
and now the
But
you
he's
see
not
what
even Mexican. I think he's Filipino. And there they were like, yeah, just go ahead.
just throw him in there.
Throw him in there.
They look the
Right?
same.
Same thing, Lucha House Party. And they were like, let's put all the Mexicans together. Not to say that that's a bad thing. Not to say that it's a bad thing, but I feel like a lot of the times it's really hard for a WWE crowd to differentiate all of the wrestlers and luchadores when they're all grouped up. Like they're like, oh, especially if they're not getting the same shine as like, oh, okay, they're only showing off one person. I think you need
Which
to really build up your stars. You need to actually build them up. And then if you want to group them, sure. Sure. But like what has the LWO done?
no, because that's crazy. Look, something that I definitely did not want was to see him in LWO or any other luchador. To be honest with you, I feel like not every Mexican has to be in the LWO, right?
Mhm.
First of all, second of all, if people cannot differentiate luchadores, then that's their problem.
Mhm.
Because if I can learn all these Caucasian and European names
Caucasian.
and Japanese names,
Yeah.
then they can learn the Mexican ones. Like it's not that hard. It really isn't that hard. I also don't think that any of the luchadores that are in WWE or AEW have any similarities at all. So for people to even say, "Oh, well, it's because I can't tell them apart," or the wrestling looks the same, I don't know what you're watching because I don't think they look the same.
Yeah. And it's
Mm-mm.
crazy to I just don't want him. I don't want him in the LWO. I don't.
Me neither. I don't want him LWO. He doesn't have to work with Ray. I mean, of course, we want to see that
Yeah,
someday, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Of course, but we don't have to put every luchador against Ray tampoco. We don't have to bring out Ray every time. Every time there's a Mexicano.
Mhm.
But I do have high hopes for Penta Restaurant. I do have very, very high hopes for him. I also hope that if Ray Phoenix does come in later, I also hope that they give him the same treatment
Yeah.
because I do feel like people don't look at Ray Phoenix the same way they look at Penta,
Mhm.
even though that dude is also crazy. And if anything, he can do other crazy things that that Penta cannot. So
Yeah. Deadpool nerd, thank you so much for helping us out. He says that's the La Parca walk, the original one from WCW and AAA. Thank you so much. And also he says DJZ is Joaquin Wild. Thank you, because I was not remembering it at all. And it was so funny because I was watching a video where he was getting interviewed about being the LWO and he was like, I'm not Latino. And
he's like, let me
Zelina was
tell you
like,
guys.
"Oh, we're all getting LWO tattoos." And he's like, "I had to get the approval because he's like, I don't know if this is okay, but he's got an LWO tattoo." He's like, "They said it was fine." So he's like, "If Rey Mysterio said it was cool, then I
I
guess."
mean, if he's in there, it's Filipinos
Honorary.
are primos anyway.
Honorary.
Filipinos and Mexicans, we're cousins. So that's totally okay. He can be adopted into the LWO, even if
Absolutely.
he's not Mexican. A question
Absolutely.
I have though for
Mhm.
our listeners that know more about wrestling than I do, does that mean that Penta's mask is also inspired by La Parca? Because I've always felt like there's such similarities to his gear and his mask to La Parca. So now I wonder if that's also inspired by him.
By
If
him.
anyone can answer that.
Yes. I know you had mentioned that there was a different theme song than his
Okay,
original entrance.
well, the theme
Or
song kind of sounded the same. I haven't even listened to them back after back to I mean back how do you
back,
say
yeah,
that?
back after
Back
it.
to back.
Yeah.
But I did notice that the second night they did add Cero Miedo, and I don't remember hearing that the first
They
night.
did have it.
Oh, they did? Oh,
Yeah.
never mind then.
Because I remember him specifically going like the cero, miedo, and then
I
the
don't
thing happened.
remember
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hearing it in the song.
They
Okay.
did have it. I don't know. They might have tweaked some things up because I know for sure for the second entrance they added the spinny thing
Yes.
behind him. So
Yeah.
sorry if you were listening and not watching this podcast and I just did that noise. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah,
What is that called
what is that? I
that
don't
he uses? What do you call those?
I have no idea, but let's watch a couple of let's watch a behind the scenes of Triple H working on WWE's on Penta's WWE entrance. Let's watch a little bit of that.
Let's.
If he's here, I kind of want that to be like right a wall of fire behind him. The first bit of the music plays in total darkness. The first thing we see is him in that laser tube. But now he stands up, the world comes on with the lights. He stays here before a minute before he walks. And now that's the backdrop of him walking. Yeah. And like as you're walking, he's gonna have that firewall behind you.
So I think that's just cool that Triple H is actually like, hey, this is what I kind of want it to be. And then he stands in the place of Penta, the camera like works on, where to actually be. And then he's like, oh, well, we're going to add this. And then the Cero Miedo, as in the music comes on. And it's really cool to see Triple H work like that because I don't think I've seen a lot of like behind the scenes of him actually like helping with entrances like this.
Yeah.
And then we have another video of Penta coming from backstage and everybody just being there and clapping. And honestly, this one like had me in the feels because he was just so like, oh my God, thank you guys so much. Like, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to work with you. Like, let's watch a little bit of that.
Is that your family?
Yeah, and the pro.
Very, very nice, very sweet. How many?
The older is 18, 17, and 11.
Okay.
The 11 is.
So cute.
Mucho gusto. Felicidades, sí, sí. Bienvenido también.
Gracias, gracias.
So you see there, like Raquel was like, "Oh my God, welcome." And Rey Mysterio was asking him, like, "Oh, is that your family in the front row?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, like that was my daughter." I think he says they're 18, 17, and 11, like the three daughters. And he's like the youngest one. That's the one that knows about WWE. That's the one that knows about all the storylines and the wrestling, and that's why she was so excited. So could you like imagine like if you're a fan of WWE, right, and you're a little girl and you're watching, and then this has been your dad's dream, and you also loving WWE and growing up with that, now your dad is working there and involved in those storylines that you keep up with. Like, I understand why she was so overwhelmed with joy. I was like, oh my God, who's that little girl? She's crying. I'm crying in the club too, girl. Like,
That was very cute. Yeah. Yes. I
it's
agree with Ryan.
crazy. What did you think about seeing all that stuff backstage?
Oh, that's really cool. I love it. I love how they were treating him. I love how they received him. Also you can tell that Penta's English has improved so much.
Yeah.
But as a Mexicana, of course, I was very proud seeing how everyone welcomed him back there.
Yeah.
And also the fans, because that was very, very the pop that he got, I was very happy for him.
Honestly, I'm sure that have to have been so overwhelming for him. And I was watching an interview that he recently did where they were telling him that he's like, hey, like, do you know the interview was in Spanish, but the guy was basically like, hey, do you know like your t-shirt is one of the top selling t-shirts right now in WWE shop. And he's like, no, no sabía. Like, he was super excited. He's like, but that really just shows me that I'm gonna have to he's like that I pulled some people in that moment and they like resonated with me. So I'm going to work hard to like make them proud to, have bought that shirt or something like that along those lines. And I was like, oh my God, like everything Penta just says, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I need to clap every time that man talks because he is amazing. I'm so happy for him. One more thing that I want to mention about the Penta thing. There was a tweet that was going around talking about who your dream opponent would be for Penta. So do you have a dream opponent? Because I know I have one.
Oh man. I would love to see him and Seth Rollins.
Oh, okay. The showmanship in that match was friend.
Yes, restaurant. That would be beautiful. That would be so cunty. I just know it. I just know it.
That would be oh my God, they would serve absolutely. I kind of want to go the route of an intergender match and I want to see him fight Chelsea Green. I at least need them to allude to it. They had a great match in Lucha Underground. And
Oh, you're so right. I agree.
Chelsea can really take a bump. We've seen it and she's not scared and she sure was not scared in that match. So I
Chelsea
remember,
and Candice LeRae. You know what? I'll take either of them. Or
yeah.
both.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, they were oh my God, that would just work out so great. Even if that doesn't happen, I just need them to like allude to it. Like I need there to be a backstage segment, like Penta could be getting interviewed or whatever. And then
Oh, okay.
he could be like, oh, he's like, so sorry, like I need to go talk to somebody, right? And then he goes like walking off in a direction, and then there's Chelsea Green and she's talking with somebody else. And then the Chelsea would be like, excuse me, and the girl would leave, and then it would just be Chelsea and Penta. And then she'd be like, welcome to Monday Night Raw or something like that. Or they can allude to something underground or some crazy shit. But I think that would be so good.
Okay.
Just
I'm with you. I'm with you because Chelsea's silly. She's so goofy. So that I know that she could make something like that work. Okay, best friend. I see. Okay. You
see
should
the
work
vision?
for WWE, okay?
You see the vision, Russell. We should be creative. Thank you. Oh man. I have the transition being, speaking of WrestleMania, we haven't even said anything about WrestleMania. Oh wait, hold on. We have a couple more comments that I do want to get to. Deadpool Nerd, thank you so much for joining us today. I don't think we've ever had you on the stream.
Yeah, I don't remember Deadpool Nerd.
So welcome. He said he met Penta at Comic-Con before. Such a humble, nice guy. Really makes you feel welcome. Absolutely. I've met the Lucha Brothers. They're just so joyous, so kind, really take time to chat with you. I was talking to them in Spanish. My Spanish is a little choppy and I get a little nervous, but they were so nice. And
I don't think your Spanish is choppy.
This was like when Ray had his injury. I think he had surgery on his shoulder. But man, Lucha Brothers, always 10 out of 10. Someone else says their dream match. 002 HTX says Penta versus Dom, which would not be mad. I saw like the fake advertisement for a Cinco de Mayo match, or in the match that's going to be in Mexico. I think it's like Mexico Backlash or whatever. That would be a match. I'm like, oh my God, that would also be so good.
You know what? Penta would be the perfect man to humble Dom. Because I feel if there's anyone in WWE now, right, that can humble this man and actually, because I mean, there has been so many people that have talked down on Dom and all you do is laugh, right? But I feel like Penta would be that one Mexicano que le va a rayar su madre. So honestly, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that does happen.
Yeah, Scott George is saying, I don't think Penta ever needed a mouthpiece in AEW. His English is really good. Yes, yeah, it is really good. I think a lot of the times, and I just, not to be, I guess it like takes up TV time or whatever when you're trying, when someone is trying to speak English and that's not their first language, and it's sucky because they should get that TV time to talk, right? Like it shouldn't be an issue, but I don't know if it's like a thing where they're like, oh, we just need to get the point across now. We need the audience to get it. And we'll have somebody else say it for you, whatever. But
they also maybe don't want to speak English. A lot of people don't care to speak English.
Yeah.
So
And they're like, yeah, I mean, if I'm not gonna, or some people also are not confident in their Spanish speaking abilities. I mean, their English speaking abilities. So like, whatever. Yeah, just whatever. I'll speak in Spanish. Someone else will translate for me. They'll get the point across. That's why the whole Penta says thing worked, because he resonated with the Spanish speakers, and then everybody else who wasn't Spanish speaker was like, oh, okay, I still get it, right? But there are, I think of Beast Mortos in AEW. That man doesn't even speak English. Luchasaurus doesn't even speak English. That man is going like, "Brr." So you got it. You understood. When anytime I hear Takeshita talk, I'm like, period. I
Right,
get
Takeshi
it.
doesn't even have to talk.
Because I
Like
don't
a lot of them, they don't have to talk. A lot of them don't want to talk. So it's, it's okay.
yeah.
But I do think Penta, I mean, we heard him speak English and then we heard him speak Spanish.
Mhm.
Um like I said, English very good, but the passion that Penta has does not translate in English like it translates in Spanish. I'm sorry. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
And so I'm very happy that we do that we live in a world and that that we live in a world where he can speak Spanish and his point will come across anyway.
Yeah. Johnny is saying Dom should defeat Cena in his last match. All right. Enough of these silly comments, guys. We need to be serious. Thank you, Johnny. We need to be serious about things.
Let's
Okay?
please let's get serious here.
We've had enough funny business on today's show, 50 minutes into the episode. Well, now let's talk about WrestleMania. There are rumors that let me figure out this. Jesus, look at this setting that I have. Oh my god. I'm literally we had the
You're
slideshow has been giving us such a slide problem
you're
this
doing amazing, Rest Friend.
this morning. So let me just edit it and then we should be good. Great.
There you go. There you go.
Indiana 2027 Rest Friend could possibly be the place where WrestleMania is. And we were talking about this before the show. We can go. That's literally next door. It's 3 hours away.
Right here.
We can go on the bus. We can make that happen.
No,
Mind
we
you,
absolutely can make that happen.
I think if it's the 2 days, easily maybe SmackDown would even be here, and or Monday Night Raw would be here in Chicago, and it would be easy things to do, because I think Chicago could have a lot of shows, and possibly, I mean, Indiana is also a place where it can have a lot of shows, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think of Indianapolis, downtown Indianapolis is pretty fun, but I don't know.
It's Indiana.
It's Indiana. That's all I can say. Thoughts, Rest Friend?
I mean, I'm here for it because it's near us. I wouldn't have to sell my organs in order to get there. I would have to probably sell one organ for the ticket, but it's better than having to, you know, go broke on trying to get there. So, like you said, we'll take the bus.
The Greyhound probably goes there. You know
It
what?
actually, it should. Now
Let me
you
look up
looking
these
it up.
prices. Yep. Let me look up Greyhound to Indiana. Or we could take the Metra. I wonder. Oh wait, they
Hmm.
do, Rest Friend, they do go. Okay, let's see. Indianapolis bus station. Period. Let's see.
Okay, now,
Yeah.
no, I'm for it. Why not? I mean,
What do we have to lose?
right.
Worst comes to worst. Rest Friend, a bus ticket is $52. We can get there with $50 direct.
I mean, if we buy it now,
Yes. If we were
because once
going
they
if
announce,
we were going right now, it would Restaurant, I don't think
let's
there'd be
just
a
buy
lot
the
of people.
ticket in advance.
Restaurant, I don't think there'd be a lot of people taking the Greyhound from Chicago to Indiana. And I don't think people will be like, "Oh my god, I remembered an episode that the Rest Friends did in 2025 in January that they said they were going to take the Greyhound, so now we got to take the Greyhound."
No, me neither. I just think like if Indiana, okay, if people know that WrestleMania is going to be in Indiana, wouldn't they raise prices? I don't know, restaurant. In this country, I'm traumatized. Okay.
Yeah, Mimi said road trip would be cheaper, rent a truck. I mean, I think I'd still be paying $50 because I'd give you guys gas for $50. So that would be like a Sergio
It
question.
would be cheaper because we would have a right to be, getting places over there. Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're gonna take a bus and then we're gonna have to be paying what for Ubers as well.
Yeah.
So I can see why renting a car would be
Depending on how the
cheaper.
car rentals are that week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. Mimi, you're invited. Thank you for the 2027. See you there.
For 2027
See you there,
WrestleMania.
cuz put it on your calendar, cuz I don't know when things are going to be happening. But yeah, I'm guessing that that decision for Indiana, but there it's just in the running, right? There's a couple names in the hat, but I'm guessing that's going to be heavily influenced by how this year's Royal Rumble goes, which is also in Indiana next week. And the prices are literally insane. Insane. The cheapest ticket is about $170 in section, what is it? It's like the very, very last section. So
So the nosebleeds for sure.
yeah, which I'm like, damn, that's, I mean, the Rumble, you're going to be all the way up in the sky for 170, which I mean, 170 is not bad, right? But you would think you would have a little better location at least.
I
And that's
mean,
without taxes.
oh, okay. Ooh.
So, and we
Is
know
that face value or is that third
face
party?
value. Yeah, not
Okay.
even reseller.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, we'll have to circle back on that one. But let's talk about John Cena's last year in wrestling. And this is where I'm gonna start crying. This is the part of the episode where I tears, tears, tears. I'm very, very excited that John Cena gets to leave how he wants. That he gets to go out telling the story that he's wanted to tell. And I'm sure Cena has pull in the back to be like, this is kind of what I want to do, right?
Absolutely.
Like after all these years in wrestling and everything he's done in WWE, ya sería el colmo que le dirían like, no.
Yes. No.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Of course.
nice try, Cena. You're not gonna get one over on us.
Please. And then for Cena to be like, all right, then I'm leaving. They would never let that happen.
They would never, absolutely not. Where is the feud is where I'm asking. It's January, and yes, on Netflix, he was kind of like, the first episode of Netflix, he's like, guys, I don't really see myself breaking that record of, right now he's a 16-time world champion, right? He doesn't see himself being a 17th-time world champion. And I was like, first of all, why not? This is wrestling. You should know how this works, sir. Like, what do you
Like,
mean?
can you not erase something on that paper and just add
Write it off and write something else.
17?
Write your name in. What the heck? But yeah, I was like, okay. And then he was like, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I can. Maybe I can win the Royal Rumble. And I'm like, there we go. Ahora sí. Like this is how you do it, sir. I don't care that I think John Cena absolutely could win the Royal Rumble. Do I want CM Punk to win the Rumble? Absolutely not. I think they should give it to John Cena. Why? Because it's his last year. Give John Cena the Rumble win. Okay. I think it would be absolutely disrespectful to not do it. If I was writing it, I would write it in.
I agree. No, I agree with you, restaurant.
It just doesn't make any sense to me that it's his last year and you wouldn't just give him everything. Does that sound crazy? I'm sorry if it does. I don't think I sound crazy right now.
No, you know what? I love everything that you're saying because I kid you not, that's how I feel about Hangman. Like, I mean, I know I'm not comparing John Cena and Hangman before everyone comes over here and I want Hangman, but the love that you have for John Cena is exactly how I feel about Hangman. So, rest friend, you're talking and all I'm hearing is
That's like saying, let's say Kenny Omega wants to retire in New Japan, right?
right.
And Kenny Omega's it's his last year, like that's it.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me that New Japan's gonna be like, no, Kenny Omega, you're gonna do what we tell you.
No,
What?
absolutely not. Yeah.
Like they're not gonna give him, like they're not gonna. It's his last year. You're not gonna give Kenny Omega one more title. You're not gonna give him one more push. Like
that's a great example. You're spitting facts.
Like I feel like there's so many other examples that you can give in other wrestling companies. Like I don't know. Same thing with Cody. Like if Cody went back to AEW, if AEW ends up having a 25-year run, right?
Right.
And I mean, I guess who would be a staple right now? Because I was going to say Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes is really in there. If the Bucks, right? If the Bucks wanted to have one last tag team run, you're shitting me to not give them one more title run. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
So anyway, now they have this sad ass merch in the WWE shop that is saying literally sad ass merch. It literally says on John Cena's the back of the t-shirt that they're selling, it says, after this, you can't see me. Best friend. It literally says, after this, you can't see me.
That's actually genius.
Best friend. That is crazy.
Whoa. Okay. I,
Mm-mm.
that's amazing.
The last time is now, I tell you. They really do have I like that farewell t-shirt right now. I'm actually showing it if you guys are watching. But that farewell tour they have
That
with
black
just
one, right? That's what that
yeah.
is?
Yeah, and
Okay.
they have basically what it is. I want to see if I can pull it up bigger on my end so I can read what it says in the back. But it's basically just all the championships that he's won. And I'm like, dang, Cena, you really did that. Shout outs to you. But it's like a 13-time WWE champion, 5-time United States champion, 3-time World Heavyweight champion, 2-time World Tag Team champion, and I want to say was another 2-time tag team champion. I don't know, but I blocked it with the John Cena My Life DVD. Sorry, I played myself on that one. But just craziness to think that like, all right, what's the storyline going to be? It's January. I know the Royal Rumble's coming in, and that's what he mentioned in his speech, the first episode of Netflix. Where are we going? What's the situation? I know the rumor is that he's going to face Cody Rhodes. I
Okay.
don't like that because I love Cody Rhodes. You know how long it took people to stop booing Cody in AEW? They didn't, and that's why he
And
went to WWE.
he did not. They're gonna boo him out of WWE back to AEW.
Yes!
What's for the cat?
Like, I think it's
Oh
very
man.
minimal anytime somebody right now is chanting Cena sucks, right? I think
Yeah.
everybody's just chanting, let's go Cena. Thank you, John Cena. People are clapping for him. The girlies are crying in the club. By the girlies, I mean me. So I don't want that to be the WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Rosebud. There's just so many things that could happen.
What do you want the WrestleMania match to be?
Oh man. I think
Who
this
do you want him to face, restaurant?
there's so many options. I think there's a lot of options. There's a lot of people who have put their names in the ringer. I don't know specifically for WrestleMania, but we did talk about I asked you when we were like doing the notes for our show, because yes, guys, I know we sound crazy, but we do have notes. We have a rundown. So
We sound crazy, but I want you to know that the craziness is written out here.
I want you to know the slides are done. Okay. There's a what is it? There's an order to the chaos or the chaos to the madness. There's a what is it?
Restaurant, you're asking the wrong person.
Guys, there's a method to the madness.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. One more match that I would absolutely love to see. I don't care if it's at Mania. I don't care if it's at another pay-per-view. I need to see one more time Randy Orton versus John Cena.
Great.
I think that these guys had phenomenal matches. This was my childhood. Anytime I turned on the TV, John Cena was feuding with Randy Orton. What are your thoughts on possibly a Randy and a John Cena match, Russ friend?
Oh man, give it to me. Give it to me, please.
I think,
That's all my thoughts.
man, you said that's all I got on that one.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Another
It's
match
fun.
another match that I would really love to see is you got to bring back Edge.
Yes, that's
You
the one.
listen. I don't care about the dumbass name change. Cope, Russ friend.
Not the dumbass name change. That's his government name.
I know it's his government name, but just keep Adam Copeland, Russ friend. Just keep Adam Copeland. I don't understand. Ugh. I'm sorry, Mr. Rated R Superstar. That was a bad.
Yeah,
That was a bad.
yeah. No, when you said that you would turn on the TV and John Cena was feuding with Randy Orton, that's how I feel about Edge.
Yeah.
Like my favorite time when I was little watching wrestling was John Cena and Edge feuding. My
Yeah.
favorite is because I'm not gonna lie to you, restaurant. I know I've told you this before, but I was a John Cena hater. And by that I mean like I didn't like him. He would come out and I would be like, John Cena sucks too. You know what I mean?
I can't deal with you, Russ friend. I cannot. You
So
and Mario.
sorry.
Anytime you guys say
I'm
anything
so
like that,
sorry.
honestly, a little piece of my heart died. Anytime you guys are
I
like,
know.
I was a John Cena hater. I was like, excuse me? And
It's
it's crazy
true.
because I was an Edge hater. Okay.
Yeah.
Anytime I saw Edge, I was like, bro, I will fight you as an 8-year-old. Okay.
I looked up to him. I was like, I want to be that mean one day.
That's so crazy. But no, same. Like these feuds are the basis of our childhood. Edge and John, Randy and John. Like I hated these guys because I was like, you got to pick a fight with somebody else, okay? You can't be fighting John Cena all the time. Get some new material.
That's so funny, Restaurant. I'm so sorry. When DX would mess with him too, oh, that
Oh
was my
my god,
favorite. That was my favorite.
crazy. Crispy is joining us. Shout outs to you saying John Cena hinted at going to Impact Wrestling. He did. He absolutely did.
That's crazy.
Interessante at him. There's just so many possibilities, right? And let's see, someone else commented, Deadpool nerd. Before Cena goes, I'd love to see him do a crossover match or a feud outside WWE. WWE works with TNA, so why not? We've never seen him outside of WWE. That's very true. Very true. There's a lot of possibilities, and we'll get to one of those possibilities a little bit later. But I mean, I guess we could talk about it now too, because I had someone else in mind, but totally forgot. We kind of talked about this dream mattress friend. Interessante that you had told me about this wrestler in New Japan. And I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever heard of them. Like, what do they do? And you were like, basically, they're like the John Cena of Japan. And I was like, what? And yeah, absolutely. This would be a
That's
great final match to have us friend.
That's also how Sergio introduced me to Tanahashi. When before I even knew about his existence, Sergio was like, well, Sergio showed me him, and I was like, okay, very interesting man, beautiful hair,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing hair. And Sergio's like, yeah, that's let's say that's the John Cena of New Japan. And I was like, whoa.
Right?
And and then I told you that, and yeah, that's how we were both introduced to him.
That is so crazy because when picturing somebody and if you say that person is the John Cena of that company, of that, just that platform, you're like, oh my God, now I get it. Because you see, if you think about WWE, you think about John Cena, you think about
Yeah,
everything that they've done in and out of the ring,
yeah.
and just the platform that they've built for themselves, like a star. So when you said that, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this guy's a star. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and man, Tanahashi, that'd be great. I know he said his last match is going to be here at Windy City Riot against Takeshita, which shout out to Takeshita for that amazing honor. And I can't believe we're gonna be there live to see it. So
Yeah.
that's just gonna be crazy to see. But I think he could have half a match on him with John Cena. Like,
Right? Like maybe a little something. You know what? I mean, I think everyone would pop and would be content with just a little face off, even. Just like a what could have been. Because unfortunately, Tanahashi is already at an age where he wants to be done. He has other things to do in that company that doesn't have to do with him being active in the ring.
yeah,
And then we have John Cena too, who he's also ready to be done. I'm sure John Cena has so many endeavors right outside of WWE. So
yeah,
but even a little face off, like I said, I don't know, something, because
yeah.
it's two people that I know so many wrestling fans have talked about. Even wrestling fans that don't watch WWE would love to see Tanahashi and Cena face off. But
We can dream. We can
we
dream.
can dream.
It's gonna be a long year. So the possibility is there. But someone who did mention John Cena by name, Joe Hendry.
Jesus.
This is so funny. Um, I don't know, man. Joe Hendry, 10 out of 10. I think that would be iconic to see because the crowd loves both of them. And All Ego also mentioned him. So Ethan Page, sir, also was like, you know what? John Cena should stop by NXT. And I was like, oh,
Okay.
shots fired. Shots fired. I don't see why John Cena would not show up in NXT.
Yeah, honestly.
He could have a little open challenge and fight 3 people at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like back to back. I don't know. Crazy things. Gunther is also a name that people have thrown out there to possibly have a
Whoa.
match against John, which, oh my God,
Gunther would destroy him. Are we sure we want that?
that would be brutal. Gunther would have to tone it down a notch for it.
No, he would. Mm.
John Cena would have to keep the shirt on for that match because
Yeah.
it's not going to work
Mhm.
out. And again, I had mentioned that the idea was for Cody, but Roman would also be possibly in that picture because the bloodline's really popular right now. And main event Jey Uso, maybe. Who knows? There's a lot of
Okay.
possibilities. So I think depending on how the Royal Rumble goes, and maybe the Elimination Chamber. I think we might get a better idea of who the storylines would be for. I was kind of scared because that farewell tour that they had on WWE Shop had just like the 16-time world champion, and that was it, farewell tour. And I was like, damn, if they add another championship on him, they're gonna have to change that t-shirt. And they just
Yeah.
put that up. And John was saying, he's like, I don't think that they'll give me another belt. And people are thinking that they might just be saving that for Charlotte. That might just be a record that Charlotte will break. And I wouldn't be mad at that. But I was like, are you shitting me? After everything John Cena has done for you, you're not going to have him break that title because Ric Flair? That's going to be where you draw the line because Ric Flair? Like, this is bullshit to me, Russ friends. I'm so sorry to rant about John Cena
You talk your shit,
not breaking
please.
the record. John Cena needs to be a 17-time world champion.
Okay.
Fact. That's what I think.
Okay. Why not? It's because why not? If
It's 'cause
we're
why
already
not?
at 16, why can't we just make that number 17?
Exactly. You can have him break the 17.
Okay,
And if you want, Charlotte. Oh, look at the gatito. Hello. Period. Okay. So John Cena can be a
Moo moo.
17-time champion. And then if you want, Charlotte could be 18-time champion. Who cares? Charlotte's still going to be wrestling for another 10 years.
Yes, I agree. I think Charlotte could definitely make it to 20 if she wanted to. That shouldn't stop John Cena from becoming the 17th time world champion. No, I agree with you, Rush friend. I don't see why not. Why
Why not? Exactly. Scott George is saying Cena wins the Rumble and beats Cody at WrestleMania. I don't know. See, it's because I don't want Cody to lose at WrestleMania. But I also don't. It's oh my God. There's just so many things that go into this because is John Cena going to have a year where he's unstoppable and he wins all of these matches, or is he going to be putting people over? Because if he's just putting people over the whole year, why does he deserve a championship? You know, it's like I don't know, best friend.
I was gonna say Rush friend, Cody doesn't have to lose this one, but I know that would have you in tears. You're like, I know you do not want to see your two favorites together. But I do definitely think that John Cena and Cody would be a cool match. I'm not gonna lie to you. Obviously, they both have the not the charisma, the people behind them. So that would be very, very crazy.
It would be interessante. Deadpool Nerd is saying Cena versus Cody in a Who Loves America More match. Goodbye.
I mean, you're not lying.
Oh my God. Who Loves America More match? That's hilarious. Let's talk about Bad Bunny because not only did he drop a fantastic album, which I have on repeat, I absolutely love. But man, he really changed it up with the vibe, with the genre. It's a little salsa. Absolutely love the cover art. People were mad that they didn't understand it. If you don't understand it, it's not for you. And that's okay. That's okay.
If you don't want to understand it, it's not for you.
Oh.
But yeah, but that is very true. I mean, Bad Bunny was very open about the fact that, this album is for his people more than anything. And if you can relate to that, then beautiful. But
Yeah.
he did say that, like this, he wrote that album for his people in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So for people to come out here and be like, I don't get it, it's not for me. And yeah, no, it's not. Like if that's how you feel, then no, it's not.
So he was recently on Hot Ones on First We Feast, where basically Sean Evans, who's the host, he interviews celebrities and they eat wings. And with each question, they eat a hotter wing. So if you've never seen it before, it's a really fun show to watch. Definitely recommend. It's one of my favorite YouTube channels out there. So definitely go and watch some of their stuff. His episode with Chef Ramsay is just hilarious. And there's just been some really fun stuff. I know Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks has been on there before. So it's just really, really cool stuff and content that he's making. But Bad Bunny was recently on and Sean Evans was talking to him about some of the stuff he's done in WWE. So let's watch a little bit of that. And yeah.
That's my opinion.
No, there's a fact.
In my humble opinion,
Me jodí, cabrón.
you're the best celebrity wrestler ever in the WWE. You know, from the sells to the bumps.
That's your opinion?
That's my opinion.
No, there's a fact.
No. I think that's true. I think that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Like the Canadian Destroyer that you pulled on John Morrison at WrestleMania.
The Bunny Destroyer.
That was amazing.
So that was a John Morrison idea. Like, you should do the Canadian Destroyer, and we call it the Bunny Destroyer. And we did it. We practiced it. I really learned a lot about him, about Batman, Priest, the Miz, and all the guys that was coaching me.
Yeah, so Bad Bunny, he was like, "Oh no, it's a fact that I'm the best celebrity wrestler that's been in WWE." And I don't disagree with him. We talk
No,
about
it's
this all the
true.
time that Bad Bunny just really went into WWE, and Triple H has talked about this, that like he would show up at the performance center and Bad Bunny would already be in there. He'd be running the ropes, he'd be practicing and in training, and that he was there constantly. So he was really trying to learn. And Bad Bunny has a lot of respect for wrestling because he says he grew up watching it. And I think he's just done so many people proud with the work ethic that he had and the respect that he had for wrestling. I hope that we get to see him and back. Do you remember we were at the Rumble and Bad Bunny popped out and we got our merch and it was just so exciting for us?
Yes, that was a very, very cool moment. No, yeah, I do agree with him. It is a fact that he's the best celebrity that, WWE has had, because out of all the celebrities that they've had, although they were entertaining, they didn't put in the work. They clearly did not put in the work that Bad Bunny put in to um to have the matches that he had. Like, what he did in there was crazy. And I think also us as wrestling fans, we appreciate it because sometimes they'll have a celebrity in the crowd and they'll have them come in the ring to just like hold a championship up, and it's like, okay.
What do we
But
do?
no, Bad Bunny put in the work to not only have these matches, but actually um be good, to actually know what he was doing. Like, I would love to see him back there for sure.
Yeah, and he also said that it was John Morrison's idea, that Canadian destroyer, and that spot to do that and to call it the Bunny Destroyer. And he said he learned a lot from, again, John Morrison, from Damian Priest, from anybody that was just really coaching him, and he just has a lot of respect for it. So that's the only clip that I've seen of that. But I'm gonna spend my day. I'm gonna watch that because I think Benito's got a lot to say, and I'm really excited to see that. But really fun insight on that. Russ friend, there's a lot that's been going on in Dynamite, and I have not watched it. So catch me up on what's been going on with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, because since we've literally last time we recorded, Kenny Omega's back.
Yeah, Kenny Omega's back. That's what I was gonna say. He's back. He came back and he had his first match back in New Japan. Um and now he's back in AW, thankfully. I don't know. I missed him so much. I know we all missed him so much. And he comes out and has his promo, like, he had to do what he had to do to say the things he had to say.
Yeah.
And Will Ospreay comes out. And I think Will Ospreay was trying to like put Kenny over, even though he doesn't have to put Kenny Omega over. But I think he was trying to like kind of say good things about Kenny, and Kenny was like, "Whoa, um, dude, like." Basically, they were both acknowledging how both I mean, how great they both are.
Yeah.
But I think both of them in their minds also are like, okay, well, I'm the best. And I thought watching that we were going to start to see another feud brewing with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. But no, Don Callis comes out, which is someone that we both know. I mean, someone that we know that both hate, right? They both hate Don Callis, but Kenny Omega hates Don Callis.
Yeah.
Don Callis comes out. Kenny Omega wants to go and beat him up, as he should. But of course, Don Callis's boys come out. Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Lance Archer, and Brian Cage
Oh my
to
God.
beat up Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. And Rich Fred, can you believe it was four of these men coming out to beat up Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega? And Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega were looking like Goku and Vegeta out there. Seriously. Like, I know that's how wrestling fans were viewing them.
Russ friend. Well, first, shout out to Isaiah's World says, "Hey girlies, hey, so
Hey.
much for joining us. We absolutely appreciate you." Russ friend, I can't believe that Don Callis is picking up all these baddies.
It's crazy, right?
How is he pulling Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, Lance Archer? Sir, like top three, I think. Love Lance Archer. Always wanted him to get a push, and now with Brian Cage, I see it.
Yeah.
What are they called? The murder monsters.
Something like that.
Something like craziness. I am here for it. Takeshita
Yeah.
always wanted Takeshita to get a push, and now here he is.
Yeah.
Kyle Fletcher, we knew when he came in with Aussie Open, he really made a star out of himself, especially since Davis got injured, and hopefully he'll be back soon. But or is he back already? But he's not on TV. I don't know what the process is.
I'm
I
not
don't know.
sure.
I don't know what's actually going on with Davis, but Kyle Fletcher has just been phenomenal. And the fact
I agree.
that Don Callis has all these baddies on his team, I'm like, damn, Don Callis, what are you paying them? Because
What do
literally,
you have that
what do
they
you have,
want?
sir?
Because
Yeah,
no,
crazy.
I mean now restaurant, and I mean thanks to this, after we saw those crazy moonsaults. Did you see those moonsaults that
No,
both
you have
Will
to
and
go watch.
Kenny?
Yeah, I gotta go watch him.
Crazy moonsaults off the scaffold and the balcony, first of all. After that, Kenny Omega announced that Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher will be having a match against Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega in Australia, which is Kyle Fletcher's home, right? So that's really exciting, I think.
You know what's so funny about that? So Kendrick has in his new album that he put out, he's got this song called TV Off. And Lo from Wrestling Wind Down, shout outs to Bestie. She posted that card with Omega and Osprey, and then Takeshita, and who else did you say was in the match? Takeshita and
Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher, yes. So she pulled up the Kendrick lyrics, and in one of the parts, Kendrick says, "It's an alpha and omega, bitch. Welcome home." So it's like the alpha and omega. So I was like, that is so funny because you got the alpha
Okay.
and Takeshita, and you got Kenny
Yeah.
Omega. So
Omega.
I thought that was hilarious. Big pop because I love Kendrick and I love wrestling. So that was just funny. But man, this is gonna slap us, friend.
No, yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean,
Jesus.
I mean the little preview that we got on Dynamite, they're crazy. So what are we gonna see in Australia?
We're gonna see Takeshita.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Oh
We're
my
gonna see Takeshita.
we're gonna see Takeshita. Shout out to
Look at him.
I know he's a fan of the Wrestfriends podcast. I know he is. He
Stop,
subscribes
that
with
would
his
be
fin-
so cool.
He actually
He
follows us
watches.
on his Finsta.
Oh, you know what? That would be so cool. Can you imagine there's like a wrestler or two that's like low key Wrestfriends fans?
Probably. I don't know. I don't know who would.
Why not?
They wouldn't tell
Right?
us to our face though. I think they'd want to keep us humble.
They want to keep us humble. Like,
No.
no.
Let's talk about the Hurt Syndicate Rest Friend.
Yes, Wrestfriend.
Who would have thought the Hurt business from WWE turned into the Hurt Syndicate in AEW, and now tag team champs Rest Friend.
You know what's so interesting about that I learned that night thanks to Excalibur? Shout outs to Sergio and Excalibur, two men that are always teaching me so much about wrestling that I didn't know before. But Bobby Lashley had never been a tag team champ before. And all those years that he was in WWE, he was
Oh
never a
wow.
tag team champion. So that was crazy to me learning that. But yes, the Hurt Syndicate, which was Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, had a match against Private Parties, Zay and Quinn, and Best Friend, they beat them up. The Hurt Syndicate, like, they were throwing them around like they were ragdolls. That was crazy. But I must give it a Private Party. Not only was their run a very nice run, but the fact that they put their bodies through that match and survived is insane. But I am very, very happy for Shelton and Lashley Restaurant because they are the new AEW tag team champions. And it's so cool to see. I don't know, how do you feel?
No, I think it's really, really cool that we finally get to see the Hurt Syndicate have this run.
Mhm.
I hope it's a long run. I hope they're not transitional
Mhm.
champions. I think they
Same.
can really build the tag team division around them. I think in AEW right now, the tag team division is kind of like all over the place. I feel like they don't
Mhm.
have a real plan going forward. Whether I think because it was just bouncing off the Young Bucks for a while and then FTR, and it was just like back and forth between them. And I don't know. And now the the scissor people, the
The scissor
acclaim.
people.
And now the acclaimed have broken up. So I mean, I wanted Private Party since they're like OG grown in AEW, I wanted more for them in this run. And same thing with Top Flight. Like I want more for Top Flight because they've been there, right? Like these are the young talents. Like in 5 years, this is going to be your division. So I don't know if they're still building them up. And it's crazy to say still building them up, right? Like they've already been champs. The Private Party.
Yeah.
But man, it's just I was like a little sad. But I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. I'm not upset that the Hurt Syndicate got it because
Yeah.
I think they're phenomenal. I think they are the top right now. And
Yeah.
they're there to hurt people. So
Yeah. I just think when it comes to like the difference between, well, Private Party and the Hurt Syndicate, I mean, Private Party had a nice little run with the championships, but I think the Hurt Syndicate could put more eyes or bring more
yeah,
fans.
yeah.
And also just do something with the tag team championships because I mean they're pretty brutal. Even though we saw another little side of them after they won their championships, they looked a little too happy to keep their heel persona going, right? But I think they are two of the people, I mean three of the people, right? Because we also have MVP there that are going to that can elevate the tag team division. So hopefully that's what happens. Hopefully we get some more exciting things when it comes to the tag team championships because to me the tag team division is one of my favorite divisions. I love tag team champion. I mean, I love tag team matches, you know?
Yeah.
So let's hope, best friend. But another thing that happened in AEW was that Christopher Daniels had his last match, best friend, which is very crazy to me because 32 years. That's how old I am. I turned 32 in November, and Christopher Daniels has been wrestling for 32 years. So that to me is insane. And a fun little fact that I think is very interesting. He graduated from a wrestling school here in Chicago named I'm so sorry, Windy City Pro Wrestling. And the fun fact is that Sergio trained at that school. So Sergio told me, like, oh, you know, that's the school that I trained in. And I was like, I knew that he trained. I know that Sergio trained a couple years back, but I never thought that it was the same school that, you know, Christopher Daniels graduated from. So that was a fun little fun fact. Um
Wait, hold on. We can't just move on from that. That's
Isn't
crazy.
it cool?
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
That's
god.
so cool. I believe Sergio said that Daniels graduated from that school in the 90s. I believe he mentioned that. And Sergio, I didn't ask him what year he was going to the school, but I know Sergio was going in there like early 2000. Point is,
Sergio, log
point
in the
is,
stream right now to confirm or deny.
point is, they went to the same school, and I don't know. I just think that's so cool.
That is really cool. Best friend, 32 years. That's a crazy long time to be
Insane,
wrestling.
insane. Like when I heard 32 years, I mean, obviously to me that was crazy because, like I said, that's how old I am.
Mhm.
So that's an icon. Like that's
Yeah.
an icon. And for him to choose someone like Hangman Adam Page as an opponent, I mean, come on, of course you knew that I was so happy. And I'm so glad that they've added like Hangman's character into this because we all know Hangman has been going through it for a very long time now and he's still going through it. MJF comes out and he has a promo where he's basically just shitting on Jeff Jarrett. Just shitting on Jeff Jarrett. That's all he's doing. Just as MJF does, right? He comes out, whoever he's having a feud with, all he's gonna do
Yeah.
is talk his shit, right? And as he's leaving, you know, doing his little exit, because he always has to have like a dramatic exit, Hangman interrupts him because Hangman was gonna have a match with a jobber. Um, and after Hangman beats this guy after like a minute, it seems like he's just in the ring for a minute. Christopher Daniels comes out and basically tells Hangman, "Congratulations, you won, and you literally won because my doctor said that I'm done. My doctor said that I cannot wrestle anymore. So, you know, congrats to you. I hope you're happy." And Hangman looked you could kind of see the old Hangman in there. He kind of looked like he was a little upset about that. Like it kind of got to him like, whoa, wait a minute. Like I just literally finished someone's career. Like I retired this man. Because on Saturday at Collision Restaurant, they had a great match. First of all, the king of Texas death matches, Hangman Adam Page, right? Um, brutal match, amazing brutal match. And I don't know, I'm just so happy that Christopher Daniels got to face someone like Hangman to have his last match. I think it's a little sad that he didn't want to make a big deal out of it because I also thought they weren't promoting his last match, right? And then I saw in well that he said in an interview or something that he mentioned that he didn't want to make a big deal out of it, which I was like, dude, you've been wrestling for 32 years. We should have made a big old deal about that. Like, maybe some people don't know about you, but they don't know that you are so iconic also behind the scenes. So it's like, why not showcase all these years that you've been wrestling? But nonetheless, great match. The Texas Death Match was amazing. And I'm looking forward to see what ends up happening with Hangman's character now that Daniels was able to bring out a different, well, his other side. Because, like I said, he looked a little like, there was a little sympathy, a little empathy in there.
That was just such a phenomenal match. It was the first match of Collision.
Hmm.
And just opening up with that Texas Death Match, I think within the first 3 minutes, Christopher Daniels was busted open.
Hmm.
And it was a brutal match between the tables and the barbed wire. Like it was like I was like, oh my God, no, like why? Like every time I was like, you guys just take it to the next level of violence and the chairs and Jesus, everything was just crazy. But
Uh-huh.
oh no, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, if I remember correctly, I believe Hangman did two buckshot lariats on him. I believe to basically end him. I believe it was two buckshot lariats and then his angel's wing, which I agree with the people on the internet that Hangman should start using the angel's wing because I think that he does it beautifully.
Yeah.
And for him to be the last person to wrestle Daniels, and if he gets to keep that finisher or at least use it, ooh, I think that's really, really cool.
I'm sure Daniels passed that on to him. I would hope
I
so.
hope so because Hangman, I just love the way he delivers it. Amazing. Now, compared to his other finisher, which I'm not sure what it's called, not the buckshot lariat. He has that other finisher.
Mm.
Um, I don't remember the name of it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It just doesn't look like it could take me down. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I'm sure any wrestling move could take me down, right? But
He said, I feel like I could
but
take it.
but I like the Angel's Wing better.
It's so funny because going into this match, when they were promoting it, I was like, this is such a random match to have. I was like, they're saying it, Christopher Daniels just like, oh, Hangman, I'm just trying to be your friend. I'm just trying to teach you the right way. And you just don't want my help. And, now they're having a Texas death match. I was like, what is going on? Like, that is just so strange for this kind of to come out of the blue. And then rumors started to be speculating that like, hey, this is Christopher Daniels' last match. Like, this is his retirement match. I was like, oh, like, of course he wants to go down with the banger, like Texas death match. He wants to go one more time. Who better to have a big match like that than with Hangman Adam Page?
Than the king of Texas death matches.
Yeah. And that match was absolutely phenomenal. I think
Yeah.
Christopher Daniels, like he looked like he could still go another 10 years, honestly, in that match. Or after seeing that match. But that's the last one he wanted to have. That was it. And the Young Bucks were backstage, but they were not like scheduled to be on the show. But they went back just to go and be able to see Christopher Daniels and have that match with Hangman. So I thought that was really sweet.
It was really cute.
Man, just crazy career that Christopher Daniels has had.
32 years.
He came out looking like a star, just really had the best showing in this match. And even when he came out and talked to Hangman that night and was like, how does it feel to know that like you won the last match that I'll ever be able to have or something like that? I was like, dang, that is crazy work on the mic.
No,
Crazy.
yeah, he came out there very calm.
Mhm.
Like if this man did not just end his career, that is not how I would be talking to someone that just ended my career,
Yeah.
right? And use my finisher to finish me off. That's crazy. But no, he came out there and was like, dude, like, congrats, you won.
And
Thank
that's
you for
it.
finishing
Yeah.
my career. And Heyman was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I don't know, that does make me think because when Heyman came out to interrupt MJF, I was like, oh, I need to see this again.
Mhm.
I need them to revive that feud. But yeah, I was friend. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen with Heyman's character now, but it was very nice to see him I guess retire Christopher Daniels.
Yeah. Scott George is saying Buckshot Lariat is the best finisher in wrestling. Top 5, I would say. Buckshot is really good. Um, the Deadeye. Is that the move that you're possibly thinking? Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know. Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry,
Sometimes,
y'all. I don't know much about finisher
man, when it
names
comes about the moves, I don't know, guys.
or the
It's
move names.
just a little tough for us. But yeah, Rest Friend, we talked about so much on this episode.
Oh my,
Jesus.
how long? Oh my goodness.
An hour and a half worth of content here. If you guys have stayed with us since the beginning of the show or whenever you started, thank you so much for continuing to join us. If you weren't able to catch everything, don't worry, it's going to stay on YouTube. And if you just want to listen to us talk about it and not see us, which I don't know why you wouldn't, it is going to be available in an audio version on Spotify and iHeart and Apple shortly. So be on the lookout for that. But
Hmm.
thank you guys so much for always participating, for joining us, for having these conversations with us. And yeah, it's 2025. We're really excited for this year in wrestling, for this year in streaming. I believe, I guess we'll see afterwards if this went on Twitch or not, but we're also streaming on Twitch now. So go in and find us over there. We might have some more stuff. So really exciting. I guess I'm really excited for the year to start off. I was excited to chat with you today, Rest Friend. So yeah,
Likewise, best friend.
I love you so much.
Love you more.
And yeah, guys, thanks again for listening and watching. We will chat with you guys next time. We'll see you. But before we do, Restaurant, where can they follow us on social media?
Yes, you guys can go on our Twitter or Instagram. We have our link tree on our bios. I say it all the time, but basically any platform that we're on, our link tree will always be in our bio, and you will have the links to anything Rest Friend related. Our YouTube, our Twitch, like she said, we're on Twitch now.
Yeah.
You never know what we're gonna do this year. Hopefully, this is our year where we expand more and do a little bit more for you guys. We're really hoping that's the goal. But thank you guys so much. Like we said, our link tree, that's where all our content is in. So anything old of ours that you want to watch, our YouTube, our podcast, you can go on there. Thank you guys so much for joining us. So
We
much. It always means the world.
we love you
Happy
guys,
New
Restaurant.
Year.
Happy New Year.
We we know the world is, well, our country is, we're going through it right now, and I just want to send a little message real quick to anyone struggling out there by from what's going on in our country. I just want you guys to know that we're here. We're all struggling. My stomach is in knots, anytime that I think about what we're going through, but wrestling is my one of my favorite escapes. Anytime I need to escape from my problems, wrestling is it. And I hope that you guys can find that comfort in us. I hope you guys know that I'm someone that's very loving. And if you just need a hug right now, I want you guys to know that I'm here. Like, give you guys a huge hug. And yeah, like we said, thank you guys so much for everything. My cats are being troublemakers right now.
Oh,
I gotta go. I gotta go.
all right. Thank you guys so much, Restaurant.